Ruben, welcome to the ExchangeWire kitchen.
Thank you. Good to be back again.
It's great to have you back.
Yeah.
Last time you did a TraderTalk with us, it was, I think, the most popular in our history. So I'm delighted to see what the coffee does as well.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
It was a wonderful chat, and we will have much the same today. First off, the all-important question, Ruben. What coffee have you chosen today?
Black coffee. I only drink black coffee.
Yep.
There's a very big difference between black coffee in the Netherlands and in other countries.
Right.
In the Netherlands, it's like an espresso with extra water.
Yeah.
But I think here it's more like an Americano. They put hot water and then an espresso on top, which, to be honest, is not the same, but it'll do.
Very few people would know the difference. So I'm delighted that you're my guest for this, and a coffee connoisseur. Yeah, I remember when I lived in the Netherlands. We discussed this before, my time in Maastricht, and the coffee there was a coffee roaster in the town centre.
Yeah.
It was, I do miss that. Yeah. One day I'll go back for a proper black coffee in Maastricht.
Yeah, cool.
Before we kick off into our discussion, we're going to talk a lot about the Publicis-LiveRamp deal.
Yeah, which is really exciting news. And of course, it's been all over LinkedIn, and I think you already had podcasts and videos about it. But for us, it's really relevant because it's in our ecosystem. So I'd love to share my thoughts on that.
No, I'm really excited to pick your brain about it. Before we start, tell the audience, our audience, a little bit about digitalAudience.
Yeah, well, Ruben, the founder of digitalAudience, we actually founded the company 10 years ago. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary with a trip to Barcelona, which was really, really nice. And we're Europe's leading data collaboration platform. And as you said last year in the really pleasant TraderTalk, I really explained what we do. So please go and have a look and get even more views on it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, but we in essence, in the elevator pitch, we help brands, agencies, data providers activate their data for digital marketing purposes. So that can be for targeting or for measurement. We're active at the moment in the Benelux, DACH region, just launched in the UK. So really exciting. And we plan on moving into south of Europe after the summer. So we're looking at France and Spain and Italy at the moment. But we're really busy with the UK and Germany at the moment.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Very exciting times for you.
Yeah. We used to say we want to be the LiveRamp of Europe. So
here is the opportunity. You're ideally placed. This is completely your ballpark, the Publicis deal and what the deal with LiveRamp means for the industry. Yeah. Tell me first of the state of the data ecosystem and how you feel this LiveRamp move really impacts it.
Yeah, to be honest, it is a little bit. 95% of revenue from LiveRamp was US and Canada, so it's not a real European thing. Although I think they have some footprint in Europe and they have educated the market about onboarding and activation. But I think the big play will be in the US, and I feel that the neutrality part is going to be a big thing. A lot of clients will leave. Also, a lot of tech providers that are usually using LiveRamp as a backbone will move over. That's not something that will be really impacting in Europe, although the agency holding groups will have to look at alternatives in Europe as well. And I think a lot of independent agencies that don't have their own tech teams, they are not building stuff, they will need to find a solution as well. And I think a lot of them are using LiveRamp in the back or have their brands using LiveRamp, and they will now look at solutions possibly like ours.
Yeah. And it's, like you say, there was a lot of business in the US for them. There was a small European footprint, but that neutrality piece that they were built on, and it was in the press release. Probably Publicis said they would remain neutral. It's hard to see. I think you're right regarding where other holdcos and independents are going to look for their data and their activation. How do you see it developing, and what do you want to happen in the data landscape in Europe?
Wow, yeah, that's a good question. I think if you peel down from a technical perspective, for us there's three elements in the LiveRamp stack. So there's the onboarding part. There's the place where there's a platform where agencies and clients can log in. There's an organizational structure, and clients can onboard data safely. In our case, into a clean room environment where they have control and ownership, and then can activate it. Then there's the identity spine, the identity part, how to connect the client's data into different identifiers. And I think there's a huge difference there in the US and in Europe. And I think that's also one of the reasons they haven't grown or succeeded that big in Europe, is that it's very different. I mean, in the US, I think there's multiple providers that have every a US citizen in their database, if it's TransUnion or Experian or Live Intent or True Data with ID5. The data is much more available in the US to create a graph of the full population. In Europe, of course, it's very fragmented, so you need to have or build ID graph in each market, and there's not one graph that you can buy that consumes all of Europe. So you have to do it market by market, and then you have to find different providers, partners, data partners in each market. So it's a lot of work, and I think that's significantly different with the US part. And I think that's our opportunity. We've been building, these identity spines in quite a few markets, and I found a way to do it. We have a playbook to repeat this in new markets. So we're looking forward to doing this in France, Italy, and Spain, and then have a European part there.
Yeah.
And the connectivity part, I think that is the main driver of this acquisition, is the possibility to move data into various different platforms. I think in the LiveRamp, it's a couple of hundred. In our case, it's the 45 most used platforms for digital advertising.
Okay.
I think the interesting part, it's not only programmatic, it's also CTV, it's digital out of home. So it's those identifiers, moving them into those platforms is a big thing. And an integration, anybody could do an integration or build a connector into a platform, but it's really hard work and it takes a lot of time. So doing 45 or 100, that's just really difficult for a separate company to do. So I think there's a lot of value in that.
Yep.
And it's not only the integration, it's also the marketplace relationship with those platforms to be able to also buy and sell data, make data available on behalf of others, and then have a billing relationship with those platforms. So for us, it's those three elements that fit in nicely into our proposition.
Yeah.
So where we see a huge opportunity for the European market.
I can imagine. It's very exciting stuff for the industry, but for you and as a company, it's
definitely.
The wind is blowing in your direction.
Well, we're getting quite some calls at the moment that we didn't expect.
I can imagine.
So that's really interesting. Yeah, and we have some big news. Can't share it at the moment. I hope after Cannes we can tell a little bit more. But there is definitely a wind blowing in our direction, as using your paraphrasing. Yeah,
I think the rise of AI has helped in this. The data is now the lifeblood of. It's always been the lifeblood of the industry to an extent, but now it's it's an essential component.
Definitely.
The whole codes have got onto that with all the M&A, the purchases we've seen, LiveRamp being just the latest. But people are really kind of doubling down on the importance of the data they have, whether it's the first party they collect, and the clean rooms, the connectivity of it all. It's becoming it's a central pillar. So
yes, it is.
I can tell your excitement when I talk to you, Ruben. It's great.
Yeah, thank you.
But like you said, you've put the work in. You guys, you've got the foundations, and it's why it's exciting.
Indeed. It's been 10 years of hard work, and I explained before also in TraderTalk. All the integrations and the infrastructure is global, so we can move data in the trade desk in Japan, or we can move it to DV360 in the US. But data is very local, and that's where the hard work is, getting the local element done on it. And we've been doing that groundwork for 10 years. So it's really nice that now we can, benefit from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, capitalize on it, benefit from exactly. It. Europe does remain, as you mentioned, it does remain a fragmented ecosystem. It's a lot of different territories. How do you hope to see that develop over the next few years?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I would hope that there would be more of a level playing field, and then especially compared to the walled gardens. I read last week Google and Amazon doing $500 billion in advertising revenue. Yeah. And then there's a lot of talk on how local companies are working with either privacy or other elements, which is good. Everything needs to be compliant and needs to be privacy safe. But the talk about the walled gardens doing it that way is less. So we're getting scrutinized more as a local player than the walled gardens are, and I would prefer it to be more of a level playing field, where we would have the same opportunities as them. And I think, it seems that there is a more of a business opportunity. I don't know how you say that. Brussels seems to be more aware of the pressure that has been put on local players, so there seems to be coming a little bit more leeway there. So that's really good.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I'm excited talking to you. It's nice to hear, you've, like I say, you've put the work in here, and this is a huge opportunity. The shift towards data, it's a massive thing across the industry. So
I do. Rob from Audiences,
yes.
one of our I was with him yesterday, and I love his mantra that only 3% of brands use their first-party data. I still think that is unbelievable. That should be 50, 60, 70, 80, maybe even 100%. I mean, why not? I mean, the use cases are, even excluding your current customers from a campaign is such an obvious use case. So yeah, I'm also, like Rob, baffled why it's only 3%. So I think there's still a lot of education that needs to be done there.
Definitely.
There's huge opportunity there.
Yeah, that is fast. 3%, that is fascinating. Yeah. But it's, I've spent a lot of time this year talking about the power of first-party data, particularly as it pertains to publishers and their use of it. But 3%, there is a huge opportunity there in that case.
Yeah, if we see what we, working with brands, local in the Netherlands, for instance, we work with energy companies, telco companies, and they really use their data to optimize their campaigns for either exclusion, but also upsell and cross-sell, and it really works well. So I really hope that we can build those cases out in multiple markets and get more brands to go from 3% to, let's say, 25% in the next 2 years.
Yeah. Good. Well, I'm excited to hear more about it, Ruben, further down the line. It's great to catch up with you as always. Keep us posted on that big news.
Will do.
I'm sure you'll give me the exclusive.
You get that one.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Hope to see you next time.
You will.